When USA Today hit newsstands Tuesday morning, Berwick was the #1 high school football team in America. But being #1 isn't new to this team. They've been ranked at the top of the Super 16 since day one. Not true for the North Pocono Trojans. They came out of the ashes of the Big 11 to get to the championship game. Will they be intimidated by the more experienced Dogs? Or will North Pocono prove the experts wrong and win the Eastern Conference Class A title? Find out next on NEP.
This is a sports exclusive of WNEP TV 16.
Live from Crispin Field in Berwick, WNEP presents the Eastern Conference Championship. It's high school football rivalry at its best as the #1 in the nation, Berwick Bulldogs, take on the red-hot Trojans of North Pocono. The game is brought to you by Northeastern Bank, you can talk to us, and by AJ Chevrolet, service at its best, and by Bill's Supermarket, proud to be part of the North Pocono community. Now live from Berwick, here is Joe Zone.
Welcome to Crispin Field in Berwick, Pennsylvania, the site of this year's Class A final between Berwick and North Pocono. A beautiful day for football, but we didn't think so last night when the snow rolled in and dropped a few inches here on the field. But this morning, a Berwick radio station pleaded for a call for help, and the town responded by coming out to help shovel the snow away. And now the field is clear. The skies are fairly clear, too. The sun is out. Temperatures in the 30s. It is a perfect day for this Eastern Conference Class A final. Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Zone, along with Paul Olis and Coach Frank Pizzelia, Tim Carlson, too, to bring you this Eastern Conference Class A final. Paul Olis, there is not much left to say about this Berwick team that hasn't been said already.
Well, Joe, there probably hasn't been a more publicized team than the Berwick Bulldogs. As everybody knows, they've been ranked #1 in the nation by USA newspaper. They've been in the Eastern Conference 4 times. They won 3 championships. And what a triple threat backfield. The lightning-like Bo Orlando at quarterback, the bruising Andy Mills at fullback, and that elusive tailback Mike Delberto. Plus, this morning we found out that 2 of their defensive backfield men made first-string All-State.
Very good, and let's not underestimate that North Pocono team. They won a tough Big 11. In fact, one of the victims, Valley View head coach Frank Pizzelia, tell us about this North Pocono team.
Well, Joe, North Pocono features a rock rib defense. Also, they're very, very explosive offensively. They have great running in Joe Streichard's, excellent passing in Pahanic, and Mike Palis is a big play ball player, so it should provide for a very interesting matchup.
All right, Frank, and you'll be joining us up in the booth to give you some commentary during the game. It is a perfect day, as I said. The condition of the field a little bit slippery early on. We will find out if that will play a role from Tim Carlson later on. But right now, we are just about ready to go. We will be back with the start of this football game right after this message from Crispin Field in Berwick.
What makes a winner? It's the same in copiers.
All right, we're just about all set for kickoff time here in the big Eastern Conference Championship football game. The North Pocono Trojans and the Bulldogs of Berwick. And what has turned out, as Joe Zone and Tim Carlson have said, turned out to be a beautiful day for a ball game. That is number 12, Dave Mikowski. He'll be doing the kicking off. The Berwick Bulldogs will take the offense. DePippa, number 32, and number 25 is Dave Raven. It's going to be DePippa at the 15. Here he comes, straight down the middle, hurdles over a player. Mark DePippa to the 34-yard line, where the Bulldogs will put their offense 1st and 10 at that spot. Referee there is Bill Morgan, as you'll see our first offensive play of the afternoon. This is Joe Orlando. Possesses lightning-like speed, puts his wingback in motion, and Orlando gives to Andy Mills in the fourth, plunges up the middle, and gets to the 37-yard line. Andy Mills, 6'1", 215-pounder. We're going to take a look at the starting lineup for the Berwick Bulldogs. And there's your receivers, Tony DeWeese and A.J. Thomas. Comstock, Hutchings, Miller, Radamus anchoring down the interior line. And it's Orlando this time giving off to Mike D'Alberto. And look at the defense there.
North Pocono's playing a 3-4 or a 5-2, whatever you want to call it there, Paul. And it seems that Berwick is trying to spread them out with a wide flanker. The first play they came with a double wing, and it looks like North Pocono is going to go with that 3-4 and play man in the secondary.
It'll bring up a 3rd down and 7 at the 37-yard line.
Watch for Orlando here. He likes to roll out on this one. Sometimes he'll keep this himself on the rollout.
Troy Henger, number 99, brings in the play from head coach George Curry. So a big 3rd down, 7 yards. Let's see if Orlando will wing it. It's a slant play. This is Reagan, and boy, they didn't fool the defense on that one, Frank.
They sure didn't, Paul, and Berwick went to a special formation. They went to a slot inside. They were in a tight formation, a short yardage situation, even though they had about a 3rd and 7, and North Pocono seemed to be well prepared for it.
So the 4th down situation, there is the defensive line for the North Pocono Trojans. Chirundolo, Edwards, Andrea, Holtzman. And ready to punt is Bo Orlando. Heads it for the sidelines. It will not be the best kick of the day. This one will be non-returnable at the 41-yard line. So Frank and Joe, the Trojans here in the early on, come out with good field position.
No doubt about it. The key for North Pocono was to try to do something big when the first time the ball was on the field, and they did a big defensive stand, and I'm sure that's going to psych up that North Pocono offense now, and let's see if they can come out and respond to the great defensive effort of the North Pocono team.
Just a 23-yard punt by Bull Orlando. And the North Pocono offense ready to unfold. Pahanic, Strong, Strike-Charge, and Palis. Palis splits out to the right side, and it'll be Strong in the slot the right side. The lone setback is Strike-Charge, the powerful bruising runner, to the 45-yard line, and nailed from behind by Andy Mills, the All-Stater.
Very interesting, Paul. North Pocono that time went to a trips right type of formation where they came with 2 tight ends, and they motioned it to three people to the right.
There's the receivers, Mike Palis, Dave Mikowski, Bill DeSantis, and the interior line, Smith, Edwards, Huff, Reese, Kowalski, and DeAndrea. 2nd and 5 at the 45-yard line of the Trojans. The opening moments, there is no score, and again they'll split this time only to the left side. Mills in the slot, and the pitch is the same play, only to the left side of the line. 45. Strike-Charge hurdles over a couple of players and gets up to about the 47-yard line.
And this Berwick defense has only allowed points scored in 2 quarters of all of their football games this year. They're very proud of that group. They take it personally when somebody tries to score on them. Last week against Wyoming Valley West, in fact, Valley West was trying to put on a drive in the final minutes to put a point on the board, and Berwick responded. So it'll be a test today against that Berwick defense. George Curry, the longtime head coach here, and what a program he's had.
The offense, Jim Pahanic puts Palis in motion to the right side. And again, it'll be for the 3rd time. Strike-Charge, does he or doesn't he? And I believe he's going to come up short. Joe Strike-Charge. And by the way, Joe and Frank, there's another football game being played today up in Honesdale. The Hanover Hawkeyes are leading the Honesdale Hornets 14-0.
And that's really, I don't think, a surprise. Hanover ranked number 6 in the state, number 2 in the Super 16 against a Honesdale team that's ranked number 7. Both good football teams, but Hanover seemed to be a team of destiny this year.
Head coach Nick Donato of the Trojans, matriculated at Penn State, however, did not play football. Ready for the punt now. Pahanic boots it high. Underneath is D'Alberto at the 20. 25. Sidelines are set up. D'Alberto can move. He's elusive, and he's over the 40-yard line to the 41.
He almost got to the wall that time, Paul. Berwick had the wall set up on the right side, and he made an excellent return to D'Alberto.
D'Alberto, of course, last week, 130 yards plus against Wyoming Valley West, 2 touchdowns, and he is very similar to those North Pocono backs. When he gets in the open, he can fly.
So North Pocono started at their own 41, were not able to get the first down, and now it's the Bulldogs' turn at their 41-yard line. Quarterback Bo Orlando waiting for the snap from Lou DePippa. In motion is A.J. Thomas. It's going to be the roll-off. Watch Bo Orlando now. A tackle gets there. 45 and out of bounds he goes to the 50-yard line. He was chased out of bounds.
a tackle missed by Streichars. Almost had him in his own backfield that time, number 45. Watch it again.
Now watch Orlando. This is what he does so well. He takes that ball himself. He'll roll either left or right. You don't know if he's going to throw here, but now he's going to take it himself up the sidelines. And watch what they think might be a little late hit here. He was already out of bounds. Well, he goes up the sidelines, and the North Pocono player now right here hits him out of bounds, and Orlando thought maybe he should have got a call on that one.
There is number 5, Joe Orlando, who made first string All-State, not as a quarterback, but as a defensive back. Great talent. And Frank, I know you were watching that monitor that time, looking at Orlando, the way he was carrying that football like a loaf of bread. You think that could be hampering? Do you think Dick Donato might say, hey, let's go and see if we can slap that ball loose out of Orlando's hands?
Well, an early turnover, Paul, will have a great bearing in this game because both teams seem to be very, very inspired. It seems that they're a little short for the first down. Now, that time Orlando came on a bootleg action, and he has the great speed. And really, Streichars had him for a big loss, but the speed of Orlando was really the difference in the execution of the play.
And you talk about those important turnovers, Frank. Last week, Wyoming Valley West made just too many mistakes. They were in that game with Berwick for a while, but some costly turnovers. Berwick jumped on them and turned them into points.
Second down and a little less than a yard. The ball just inside the 50-yard line into North Pocono territory.
There's very good gambling down here, Paul. It's second and very, very short. Berwick still has another try for the first, so expect possibly here Berwick to try to make a big play.
And Orlando out with a slingshot arm. Let's see what he does. He has Mills at the fullback spot. Mike D'Alberto at the tailback. It's going to be Mills. He wants the first down, and he's got it. At the 46-yard line, the hard-plunging Andy Mills, who rushed for 972 yards, had 11 touchdowns this year.
And to be honest, I was a bit surprised that George Curry didn't try for something big on that play. As you look at Nick Donato, what a great year he had in just his third year here at North Pocono. But I thought perhaps Curry might go for something big on that play.
So it's first and 10. Deepest penetration so far for the Bulldogs. Orlando looking right side, left side, yelling instructions. It's going to be D'Alberto. Gets it to the 45. Penalty marker will come down. Our first penalty of the ball game.
There's a short side power play that time, Paul. With the backside guard pulling, they're trying to wedge. They're trying to wedge North Pocono at this particular point.
Well, we've got a penalty, and it will be against Berwick. And it looks like holding. They're going to take it back the other way. First penalty of the game. And again, Berwick does not make a lot of mistakes, and that includes penalties. They don't average that many a game.
You know, you got a good look at Nick Donato a little earlier. We said he went to Penn State, but he did not play football. However, he had the honor of being a roommate of John Cappelletti, who was the Heisman Trophy winner that year. And oddly enough, the Heisman Trophy will be awarded
tonight. Holding on the offense during the run. First and 25.
Bill Morgan.
First down.
Offensive holding brings it back to the 39-yard line. First and 25 for the Bulldogs. Lou DePippa, flanked by guards Ron Miller and Scott Radames. Hutchings and Comstock the tackles. DeWeese and Thomas the end. Orlando rolling, looking. Season opening 40, 45, 50. Orlando heads for the sidelines. The 45, the 40, and Streichars nails him out of bounds. Exciting, electrifying run by Orlando.
And we've got a flag down. It looks like a late hit against North Pocono, tackling Orlando out of bounds. And of course, everybody knows that the key for Berwick is Orlando. And, they're going to hit him hard. I mean, that's what the game is. But this one might have been a late. Now look at this. Orlando's going to roll right, Frank.
He just has great speed. He's well hemmed in. North Pocono really has the play well defended. He cuts across the grade here. It makes a big play against North Pocono's backside. And again, it's just a great individual effort by a great athlete, Joe Orlando.
And apparently, the flag was an inadvertent flag because there has been no penalty call.
That was a 27-yard scamper by Bull Orlando. First and 10 at the 34-yard line of North Pocono. The last man is D'Alberto, slowed up and aloft behind the line of scrimmage. Big number 79, Jim DeAndrea, crashed in there.
Well, it looked like Berwick was trying to trap it there, Paul, and North Pocono didn't fall for it. They played it very, very well.
That's right, Brock Edwards, number 64 for North Pocono, was down at the bottom of that pile and sort of slowed things up right at the beginning.
They didn't count him off. He was the backside tackle, and the fullback for Berwick missed him, but he came in from the backside.
So it's a loss of 2 yards. First and 12 now at the 36-yard line. Wide to the right side. So the Berwick Bulldogs is Scott Everett. He will alternate with Reagan at flanker back.
D'Alberto in motion. And Orlando wants to take to the airways. He does, and it is intercepted. Joe Streichard with the interception at the 17-yard line of North Pocono.
That's a big secret of North Pocono, Paul. Streichard and Palis in that secondary are excellent. North Pocono went to a little different defense that time. They went to a double stack, and they played Streichard at the free safety, and he's the man that came up with the football.
And A.J. Thomas was completely covered by Streichard. There wasn't a chance to get that ball in there.
It's a jam-packed Crispin Field here, Berwick. Well over 6,000 fans in the seats, and many, many more standing around as you get a look at number 1, NEP, and Joe Zone.
And that Trojan band is number 1, too.
Set to work now, Jim Pahanic, just a junior. Again, splits, and we've got a penalty. It's like too much time.
Delay again!
North Pocono just took too much time calling that play, and Frank, I wonder if what would cause them on a change of possession like that to take too much time.
Delay again!
Well, North Pocono is using a new formation that they haven't used all year, Joe. There again, they're going to a trips formation, and it seems that they're trying to get the speed of Streichard to the outside. They're running a one-back offense with 3 receivers one side. I expect a pass from that formation very shortly.
And just a reminder, after this game, we go to Auburn and Alabama right here on 16.
First and 15 at the 14-yard line. Pahanic on the draw. Streichard has room. Streichard can move. 25, 30, 40. One man to catch him from behind. A neck tackle by Bo Orlando. A loose football, but let's see if he was down. I believe he was down, and the ball squirting loose after the whistle.
Frank Pizzelli, I'm sure you're going to tell us that is the perfect draw play at its best.
Right, and that's the big play that North Pocono does so well. Here they are in the split backfield. Quarterback's coming. The drop back pass, you see 31 strong leading up in there and give the ball to Streichard on the draw. And there's excellent speed right there. Orlando also has good speed catching Streichard, preventing a big touchdown.
And you will seldom see Streichard caught from behind.
Well, he ripped off a big one last week against Mount Carmel to win that ball game. And right here he gets 37 yards on the rush. First and 10. North Pocono at the 50. The reverse is not handed off. Pahanic loses the football, and Berwick got it back. Scott Radamus picking up the slippery pigskin after Pahanic fake to
Watch the great defensive play here, though. He's got it shut down on his side. Look at the great play.
I think there was a little mix-up there. The quarterback missed the reverse to Palis. North Pocono was trying to reverse, and they missed it.
All right. Exchange of miscues, but it has not cost anybody anything yet. Orlando gets to the air, and he's got A.J. Thomas, who caught 5 touchdowns this year, and Thomas is ripped down by Tommy Smith. In motion, D'Alberto. Rolling left this time, Orlando. Tucks it in, gets it away from that tackle by Palis, and is run out of bounds.
Great play by Palis there, Paul.
He shut that play down completely. It looked like Orlando wanted to look downfield. Man was covered, so he tried to take the ball himself, run around the end, but Palis just shut it down. And with just a terrific defensive play, he'll get a chance to see it again. Now watch Orlando, Frank. It looks to me like he wants to throw.
Yes, he motioned D'Alberto out of the backfield, and they're double wing again. It looks like they want to attack North Pocono and catch him in a man-for-man defense. Good containment by the North Pocono tackle, Brock, and Palis comes out of the secondary, make a big play.
So on the loss, it's 2nd and 15 at the 42-yard line of North Pocono. 3:44 in the first period. There is no score in the Eastern Conference Championship. That is Everett in motion to the top of your screen. Orlando rolling right, throws the short pass to D'Alberto. Tucks it in, and on he goes, and down he goes. Paul Kowalski, the linebacker on the right side, making the tackle.
D'Alberto coming out of the backfield, just sort of slid off to the right a little bit. And again, he was not the primary receiver. I don't believe he sort of dumped off and picked up 5 yards on the play.
That's what happened there, Joe. They ran the 2 outside receivers deep, and they put the halfback on the linebacker. And D'Alberto has great speed. That's going to be tough to cover him with a linebacker.
In that Class B action at Honesdale with 5 minutes to go in the first half, it's the Hanover Hawkeyes 14, the Honesdale Hornets nothing. Here it is 0-0 with 3:05 remaining. 3rd down and 6 for the Bulldogs. In motion is Reagan. Again, wants to go to the airways. Cocks his arm once, twice, fires, and he hits D'Alberto, loses the ball, but it's gone out of bounds. Ringing tackle by Scott Strong, the left linebacker.
Scott Strong did an excellent job staying man for man on D'Alberto that time. Again, they tried to bring D'Alberto out of the backfield, and Scott Strong did an excellent job defending the play.
George Curry, who is just, he's put together a machine here. He's been 33-0 over the past 3 seasons. That's regular season games. He did lose last year to Coughlin in Eastern Conference semifinal. And so far, the North Pocono defensive secondary is matching up very well against that Berwick offense, those wide receiver people.
Hurry up.
So a critical 4th down now, 2 yards to go at the 28-yard line of North Pocono. Holtzman, DeAndrea, Chirundolo, Edwards, and Hupp. And now they shift into a punt formation. And too much time. It's going to cost them 5. It'll be 4th and 6.
I think they're going to call that illegal shift, or that what Berwick does on that, they catch everybody at least once a year. They go into a shift at the line of the scrimmage, and it draws the defensive team offside, and I think they bought themselves a first down, Frank.
North Pocono has big problems now because Berwick's down deep in their territory. That was the deliberate call play. They went in the shift to draw them to an outside penalty.
It worked last week against Wyoming Valley West also.
So the offense continues to move now. It's 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Right to the right side, Scott Everett. And to the left side is A.J. Thomas. The 2 wide receivers, D'Alberto and Mills in the eye, and it's D'Alberto in motion. The handoff, straight off the left side. This is Andy Mills. And Andy Mills rushes off a tackler. Touchdown. 24-yard run by Andy Mills, a 6'1", 215-pounder. Scores his 12th touchdown of the year.
Oh, they ran a little short trap. The right guard, if you could get it on the monitor, the right guard from Berwick pulls and traps the backside. You see it right here. There's the guard pulling.
But watch
Mills really made a good run. The hole was clogged.
Right, look at the terrific effort by Mills once he got into that one-on-one situation. Now they're going for the extra point.
All right, we'll watch Dennis Tusa now try to convert. It's up, it's high, and it is good. And the Berwick Bulldogs, with 2 minutes and 43 seconds remaining in the first quarter, lead by a score of 7-0.
We got a sellout crowd here in Berwick and a 7-0 football game. We will be back. Live game right after this.
Back here at Crispin Field after the touchdown. Dennis Tusa's kick was handled by Dave McCoskey, who returned it out to the 28-yard line, and now North Pocono trailing 7-0 with a 1st and 10 from that spot. A couple of miscues and the draw offsides on the shift, and it was touchdown bound for the Bulldogs. In motion, Palis. Last man through. It was Streichard trying to cut outside and is forced out of bounds on the North Pocono side of the field.
And Frank, that play was about 1 yard wide from going all the way for a touchdown. Great execution.
Great speed there by Joe Streichard. He's been doing that all year. They went with a backside power play. It was held up at the off tackle hole, and he just bounced it to the outside. Berwick has an excellent secondary. Already North Pocono would have had 2 touchdowns on big plays.
And now they're clipped with a holding penalty.
We'll take it back. Here's the spot right here. Right outside the 30.
Yeah. So the one thing you cannot do against Berwick is make mistakes. 2 of them in that last series, the turnover and then the offsides resulting in the Berwick touchdown, and you cannot make these kinds of mistakes against Berwick.
Berwick has had 14 offensive plays so far in the ball game. North Pocono only 5, and that last drive, 5 plays, 48 yards to the TD. There's the man who started his coaching career at Lake Lehman High School and then drifted over here to Berwick in 1971. And what a string of victories he has composed ever since. 2nd, 21. Pahanic again will split Streichars in the slot and flanks off Palis and wants to go to the air. Looking for Palis, he stops, throws long for Streichars, almost an over-the-head catch.
And he had him beat. If he connects on that, he's got himself a big gainer, and he's very slow in getting up. Pahanic down on the ground was hit hard on that play.
There we had the two speedsters for North Pocono White. Palis ran a quick out and Strike Charge ran a streak straight down the field. He had the safety beat. He had the strong safety beat, Orlando. His ball was just slightly overthrown.
And if that ball is there, you've got a big gainer or a touchdown, and you can be sure they're going to go back to that play before this football game is over.
Strike Charge has rushed for 22 touchdowns this year and caught 2 touchdown passes for a total of 24. Second down and 24 now. Just a little over 2 minutes remaining in the first period. Pitch back. This is Strike Charge hemmed in, and he'll go down in his own backfield. Tony DeWeese, the biggie tight end, actually defensive end, pinched that runoff.
North Pocono tried a little option play to the weak side, into the short side of the field, but Berwick had it defended well. Big down for North Pocono. They have 3rd and long.
3rd down and 29. Nakowski retreating to the bench. Coming in is number 80, Bill Descendants. They are the messenger people from head coach Nick Donato bringing in the plays. So we'll see now whether Pahanik will crank up his arm on a 3rd and 29. Steps back into the pocket nicely, looks over the field and fires for the speedster. There is Palis just off his fingertips. He has made many of those diving catches this year, Frank.
He ran a diagonal, Paul. He was split out wide to the right. He came in motion back into the formation and then split the safeties.
Watch the protection that Pahanik gets on this play. He has got all kinds of time to get this one to him. Terrific. And Palis almost turned that one over. And I got to believe, Frank, that they are going to go to that play, and before this game is over, they're going to make that one work.
Well, that's 2 near misses for North Pocono. Big plays, just slightly overthrown.
A minute and 13 seconds remaining, sending Jim Pahanik back into his own end zone now, ready to punt. Good snap. And hangs it high in the air. Looking at it is D'Alberto at the 44 to the 40. And D'Alberto is knifed down at about the 35-yard line.
Critical series for North Pocono, Paul. Critical series. They must hold Berwick here. That's allowed them to get up by 2 touchdowns.
There's no question about that. The one thing you do not want to do is get behind Berwick. You get that second board up, and that defense just clamps down around you. Very big defensive series.
1st and 10 at the 36-yard line. Under a minute to go in the first period, 7-0. The Bulldogs up on top on what has turned out to be a nice, crisp, clear day for the Eastern Conference Championship. This is going to be DeWeese in motion, and Orlando, that time good faking in the backfield, running laterally. Strike Charge rings him down for a huge loss back to the 43-yard line.
North Pocono tried a little bootleg, Berwick tried a little bootleg action there with the right guard Radimus leading Orlando. They faked wide right, and they relied on Orlando's speed to get to the outside.
They do a lot of this, Orlando. You see the fake inside. Orlando will keep himself rolled. He's looking for something upfield, and it's just completely shut down by a slew of Berwick players.
It's speed versus speed. Strike Charge came through there, made a big play from his safety position.
And that's going to be the end of the first period here at Crispin Field in the Eastern Conference Championship game. The score, the Berwick Bulldogs 7 and the North Pocono Trojans 0.
We'll be back live from Crispin Field right after this.
The sound you've been waiting for is coming at you now on Rock 107.
Paul Joe Zone, Frank Pizzalia, and Tim Carlson with another live exclusive sports presentation from Crispin Field in Berwick. And there is the head coach of the Berwick Bulldogs, leading at the end of the first period by a score of 7-0. Berwick now with a 2nd and 17 at the 42-yard line of North Pocono. D'Alberto's the man in motion, and Orlando wants to go to the airwaves. Hits Tony DeWeese in the clear to the 30-yard line and dragged down by 2 defenders of North Pocono.
Okay, watch what happens on this play. Thomas starts to fly down the field as if he's going to break off a long one, then pulls it up short as kind of a timing play, and Orlando goes right to him. and that's one of those plays where next time he turns it, then goes upfield and turns it into a big one.
That's right, Joe. Again, Berwick is putting pressure on North Pocono by going into a double wing formation. They're motioned into double wing. They're going with a one-back offense, and they're forcing North Pocono on that man-to-man, and Thomas is very, very big for Smith on the outside.
3rd down and 1 at the 27-yard line. Orlando this time with the turnaround handoff to Andy Mills. Busting off the right side between Scott Radamus and Jody Hutchings.
A little counter dive there, Paul. Fake one way, give back to the fullback coming the other way. That's one of Berwick's favorite short down yardage plays.
And that's a nice option to have. 2 1,000-yard runners in that backfield. And Mills, they don't use them as much as they could.
At the 23-yard line, again wide to the right side will be A.J. Thomas, Tony DeWeese, tight end. Hutchings and Comstock the tackles, Radamus and Miller the guards, and Lou DePippa ready to snap it back to Joe Bull Orlando. Puts a man in motion, but utilizes the running play. And you saw him being hemmed in right at the 21.
Excellent play by the North Pocono linebackers there, Kalowski and Strong. Berwick again tried that little quick trap up the middle, and the linebackers for North Pocono played it very well.
The Berwick Bulldogs in 4 championship games have won 3. In 1960, they defeated West Scranton Invaders in 1977. The coach you're listening to right now, Frank Pizzaglia, had his team in here. Frank, you well remember that day when a guy by the name of John Pruitt almost ran you roughshod, but score didn't indicate that.
It was an excellent football game. Looks like too much time against Berwick. Delay of game penalty. That's a big help for North Pocono, because now it's going to put Berwick possibly in a throwing situation.
Dead ball foul! Delay a game on the offense. First down. Second down.
Phil Morgan, the referee. The umpire today is Bob Duran, the head linesman. John Rokosh. Gene Wiedemeyer is the line judge, and Randy Anishak is the back judge. Utilizing officials today from the Wilkes-Barre Luzerne County area. Bull Orlando, 2nd and 13. Stop in the pocket, looking. The rush is on, but he fires for the end zone. Tony DeWeese, touchdown.
Oh, just what Joe had told us before, they went with a little stop-and-go pattern. Really, North Pocono undercut the ball. I thought they had it defended, but Strike Charge stopped on it. A little stop-and-go pattern that Joe Zone was telling us would be coming up, and it sure did.
The very next time they run the ball, he faked the little stop-and-go. He fakes the stop. He goes deep, and watch this. A.J. Thomas is going to come up short. There's the pump. Now Thomas is flying down the sideline, and Orlando just drops it in on him, and that is a quick 6.
Number 65, Dennis Tuza, attempting the extra point, and we have yellow flags on the field. That drive, by the way, 5 plays, 26 yards.
Where's Andy Mills?
And Thomas is on the scoreboard. That was his 6th touchdown catch of the year.
Right there, right? Dead ball foul! Encroachment on the defense from the 1.5.
Well, let's see if they like to go for 2, or Dennis Tuza again will try to boot it away. Trying to kick it out of Butch Melito's hole, number 8. Boots it high, long, and almost over the fence, and it is now the Bulldogs of Berwick 14 and North Pocono nothing.
We'll be back with Berwick leading North Pocono 14-0 right after this message.
No matter where you look, you won't
market.
Dennis Tuza ready to boot it off, and the sun is shining brightly here at Crispin Field. 14-0. The Bulldogs enjoying an early lead with still plenty of time in the second period, 10 minutes and 4 seconds. Deep of the speedsters, Palis and Strike Charge. And it'll be kicked to either one of those. It's going to be Strike Charge, with Palis doing the blocking in front of him now. Strike Charge elects to go straight down the middle, and you see how tough that man is to bring down. After he was hit a couple of times, he still did not hit the ground.
Yeah, I would still say that North Pocono has the ability to go for the big play. And Tim Carlson now down the sideline. He's got Andy Mills, who appears to be injured. Tim?
Yeah, Joe, that is not good news for the Berwick Bulldogs. Of course, Andy, a very good running back and also a defensive back, an all-stater, as a matter of fact. And if this will continue for the Berwick Bulldogs, it could be even a little tougher against North Pocono. I guess George Curry right now is pretty thankful they have a 14-zip lead. Back to you.
Thank you, Tim. Andy Mills, who has rushed for 972 yards, and the counter play to Palis, running out of the wingback spot. Gets a couple of yards.
And the thing I think North Pocono has to guard against now is a letdown. They've got to come out. They desperately need to get some points up, though, and I'd say in a hurry, Frank.
They sure do. I think they're going to have to get the ball to Palis a little short and try to have him make things happen. They've thrown deep a number of times early in the first quarter, and I think if they get to the ball to Palis short, Palis could do something with it after he catches it.
As you can well see, North Pocono now playing in what could be the muddiest part of this entire football field. 2nd and 9 with Palis to the top of your screen in motion. And Pahanic will float back into the pocket. Look at the rushes on, and he's going to be creamed back there.
What happens, Scott Radamus comes in, but you give that Berwick defense an opportunity to do some stuff, and they can just come at you from everywhere.
Well, they were playing pass all the way that time, Joe, and they came hard with all their 5 down linemen. Berwick right now is playing a little gap stack defense. They're trying to hit the gaps on North Pocono so they could put a lot of pressure on Pahanic since they have that lead.
They're down at 18 now for the Trojans on their own 27-yard line. Tommy Smith split wide to the left side. Pahanic will again attempt to go to the air, but the rush is on, and he's forced to throw. A nice pickup at the shoot top by Scott Strong. Pahanic is down.
Pahanic is down. He is not up yet.
They came with a red dog that time. Favava, the linebacker on the weak side for Berwick, came with a red dog, and he was right up in Pahanic's face.
Pahanic walking around very, very gingerly out there. Took a hit, and he'll exit the ball game.
Unfortunately, Pahanic's also North Pocono's punter, Paul, so this is going to put Berwick with excellent field position.
Nick Donatos looking at this situation, and he knows now that he is going to have an awful lot of things go his way, or this one's over. And the Berwick crowd is, they have reason to be fired up. They've had just a tremendous program here the past few years, and this is kind of, I think, the epitome of it all when you're ranked #1 in the country, and now 2 quarters away from going undefeated. But we are not over just yet, are we, Frank?
Oh, we're far from being over. Of course, Pahanic's...
We've got a timeout on the field. We'll be back with the score 14-0 Berwick right after this.
Taking a look at that big Eastern Conference Class B championship. At the end of the half, Hanover leading Honesdale 14-0. Touchdowns by Eric Lee, a 2-yard smash, and John Charkauskas, who scored from 5 yards out. North Pocono now with a 4th and 18. 8 minutes remaining here in the first half, 14-0. The Bulldogs up on top. Now with Pahanic out of the ball game, it's going to be Mikowski doing the punting. Low line drive, takes a bounce at the 50, fielded by DeWeese. And DeWeese is immediately nailed by Palis.
Mikowski did an excellent job putting there for North Pocono, Paul.
And the North Pocono punting unit did a nice job of shutting it down, making sure Berwick didn't pick up any big ground on that punt.
A 28-yard punt by Dave Mikowski. 14-0 here. Bulldogs 14-0. Up the valley. Hanover Hawkeyes leading Honesdale. Class B and Class A, the finals of 1983. 1st and 10. Orlando will give to the last man through, and that is going to be Dalberto. Big number 73, Jeff Huff.
Berwick came with a straight-ahead off-tackle shot. Huff made a good hit for North Pocono.
And now a little aggressiveness out there. Now Mike Delberto got up a little aggressive that time. Maybe thought he was hit a little hard.
North Pocono changed their cover a little that time, Joe. They're trying to roll up their secondary into what was called a half coverage so that they can protect their smaller and shorter quarterback against the wide receivers of Berwick. Here they are getting it.
2nd and 5 at the 48-yard line. Gingerly steps through the line. D'Alberto. He has rushed for 1,169 yards this year, 18 touchdowns.
And as you can see, Jim Pahanic now on the sideline, and he has got some ice on that ankle. And we don't know if he's going to come back in. We certainly hope so. But ice on the ankle means some swelling of some sort.
Yeah, if he can't come in, they're going to go with Bukowski at quarterback. He's their backup quarterback. Also plays tight end for them.
Coach Curry looking on now, and this is the kind of game he likes. Up by 2, and you let your offensive runners just run the ball down their throats.
The ball inside the North Pocono territory by a foot for Orlando faking. Orlando 50, slowed up. Orlando to the 45 and to the 44.
Made the first down on his own individual effort that time. North Pocono changed up defenses. They went to a college 4-3.
The key here, though, is the fake. Look at that fake inside. 2 North Pocono players go for it. Orlando gets inside, and then breaks it for the first down.
Great individual effort by Joe Orlando.
1st and 10 at the North Pocono 44-yard line.
And Joe Orlando, by the way, an all-state defensive player being recruited by some of the major colleges as a defensive back.
Wide receivers left and right. Orlando will give to the first man through this time, Mark DePippa. He is a seldom used running back. Mark DePippa has scored 6 touchdowns, however.
Scott Strong came in on that play and hit him down low and really broke up the play early.
North Pocono went back to their odd front. They played the 3-4 again, and Scott Strong, the linebacker, diagnosed the play very, very well.
14-0. The Bulldogs up on top. It is 2nd down and 9 for Berwick at the North Pocono 43-yard line. A.J. Thomas drifts out to the top of your screen, and Orlando to Reagan. Reagan's got room, and Reagan's still running. Talk about the speed of Orlando. How about the speed of Reagan?
Excellent. They ran a counter play. They went to a slot formation with a split backfield left, and they faked the outside play, cut back with Reagan, the inside man, the slot man, back on an inside reverse.
And you know, Reagan actually didn't play. He suffered an injury in the first game and did not come into the lineup until the 10th game of the season. So he has only rushed for 65 yards this year. Let's go home! Another first down for the Bulldogs. 4:30 remaining in the second period. Orlando will give to Reagan this time to the left side. Tries to cut in, but a real bruising tackle by Joe Streichard.
Excellent play by Streichard. Berwick again there went to a special formation. They put Reagan, the speedster, in a tight slot between the guard and the tackle. They ran a backside scissors there, and it would have been a real big play.
And that senior is so fast. He just shoots up from that defensive halfback spot and just cuts that play down.
Excellent play by Streichard.
The ball just inside the 30-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7. The Bulldogs so far in the first half controlling the offense have put 2 on the scoreboard and lead 14-0. In motion is Scott Everett, and a penalty in the backfield thrown by the referee. Delay of the game.
A little unusual, I think, for a Berwick team. I don't remember the last time I saw them get 2 delay of games in one half.
Right there. You got it, Bob? Here you go. Dead ball! Delay a game on the offense. First down. 2nd down.
Well, Joe, Berwick is using a multitude of formations. They're a multi-formation type of team. They're they give you that lighthouse effect with power. They're double wing. They have the slot. They're using some motion. So they're giving you a lot to defend.
2nd down and 12 at the 34-yard line. Orlando, beautiful faking in the backfield. Looks, throws long. There's DeWeese again. Touchdown! Tony DeWeese having a field day.
Mike Paulus had him covered on the play, Mike Paulus, but he pushed off, it looked to me, and that's the resulting touchdown.
A 34-yard peg from Orlando to A.J. Thomas, and you take a look right here.
They faked a little counter inside. Again, they're in double wing. He beat the corner, and Payless almost made a good play. He's a free safety back there. Deweese, the flanker, beat the corner and then took off on a streak, and Payless just didn't get there in time to play the half coverage.
Dennis Tusa attempting his third consecutive extra point. It is up. And it is no good. It is off to the right side. So Tusa is 2 for 3 on the extra point kick. 3 minutes and 34 seconds remaining to score. Berwick 20, North Pocono nothing. We'll be back with a kickoff in a moment.
Where can you see one of the largest selections of completely...
There is your score, 20-0. The Bulldogs leading the North Pocono Trojans. And that is Dennis Tusa. Awaiting the kick deep for the North Pocono Trojans, Streichars and Payless. Tusa's kick is a roller. It'll be fielded by one of the upbacks, and it is tipped by Makowski. And the ball carried out to the 32-yard line.
You see the Berwick scoring drive. 8 plays, 56 yards. It took them 3 minutes, 37 seconds. Of course, the 33-yard pass from Delberto to Thomas, the key to that one. They'll make that Orlando to Thomas.
1st and 10 for North Pocono, trying to get some kind of offensive movement in gear, trailing 20-0. Makowski will be the second-string quarterback, place of the injured Jim Pahanic. And that play goes nowhere. Boy, did he draw traffic.
Well, the Berwick defense now, their whole goal the rest of this game will be to do all kinds of things to intimidate and keep North Pocono off the board. It doesn't really matter what the score is at this point. They're going to try to keep North Pocono off the board.
They sure are, Joe. They went into a little overload that time, and they guessed right. They were really stacked up over on North Pocono's right offensive side and were well prepared for that play.
In 1977, this Berwick team scored 13 straight victories and are trying to duplicate that feat here this afternoon. They've got 12 wrapped up. Payless in motion. Makowski rolling this time, he will keep. Got blockers in front of him, and the tall, lanky Dave Makowski, the 6'4", 195-pounder, is still on the opposite side of the field.
Frank, that's a pretty nice play. He had some good blocking on that. That had some potential to pick up some big yardage.
Yes, they motioned to the strong side with Payless and ran into the split end with 2 lead backs on the play. And Dave Makowski's a big, strong kid. He's about 6'3", 190. So they're trying to establish a little running game, which is good because they have to try to establish something before they get out of half.
And now you take a look at it the way the Berwick defense will see it.
3rd down and 3. Makowski looks to the sidelines, but there's nobody open. He's going to be forced to run now. Fires, and it's a bad fire, John, because it's picked off. I think he shouldn't have pulled the trigger that time, Frank.
Well, he threw right into the teeth of Berwick. Had 2 defenders right there. They were rolled up on the split man. It was a 3rd down and short, and he should have kept the ball and punted and, hope to get out of half with 3 touchdowns down rather than 4.
Well, Nick Donato told us earlier this week that if we were to stay in this ball game, maybe win it, we've got to not make the mistakes. So far, the miscues have hurt them.
And of course, one of the keys there, Makowski, not the experienced quarterback that Pahanic is, and that may have had something to do with that decision.
Watch for the long bomb here, Paul.
1st and 10 at the North Pocono 38-yard line. A.J. Thomas now reverses his direction in moment.
Here it comes.
And Orlando looking long. You're right, Frank. There is Tony Deweese. That overshoots the mark.
Well, they motioned to the wide side of the field and faked to the wide side of the field and then came back to Deweese deep, but it was well defended that time.
A strike charge came in and picked up nicely on that play, and it could have been completed, but I doubt it would have gone all the way with it. Hanover area. area. The number 2 team in the Super 16 beating Honesdale. The number 7 team is now 14-0, and Honesdale apparently has really settled in because it was 14-0 in the first quarter in that game. So the Honesdale defense now, and their problem is Hanover just doesn't give up any points.
Let's expect a gadget play here, Paul. Berwick loves a gadget play in this situation.
They've got wide receivers left and right. Orlando, quarterback draw. Orlando's got room. That is Phil at the 30-yard line. Again, big number 73 for the North Pocono defense, Jeff Huff.
They came with a gadget, Paul. They had nobody left in the backfield. They motioned everybody out, and Orlando was the only back left. He ran a little quarterback draw there. He could make a big play.
The score, 20-0. Berwick. We'll be back right after this.
Kathy. 5:47:86.
And a bad sign for North Pocono, the quarterback. Pahanik, the starting quarterback, carried into the locker room. Therein could lie any chance at all that North Pocono may have of getting back in this game.
A minute and 3 seconds remaining. 3rd down and 3. Berwick, Orlando, D'Alberto. He's got room. He may just go all the way. Orlando handing off to D'Alberto. 31 yards, and touchdowns are coming up pretty easy here for Berwick.
They had 3 wide outs that time, Paul. They ran a little counter to the tailback, a little type of sprint draw counter to the weak side, and they trapped it and had a big hole.
There he is, Mike D'Alberto, 5'10", 170-pound senior for Berwick. And when he gets in the open, he's a tough man to bring down one-on-one.
D'Alberto, who rushed for 1,169 yards, 18 touchdowns during the regular season, gets one more here. Watch Dennis Tusa now. He's 2 for 3 in the kick department. This one looks perfect, and it is. So with 55 seconds remaining here in the first half, the Berwick Bulldogs so far enjoying a field day, leading by a score of 27-0. And Frank, that's going to be an interesting conversation. You've been in them before with head coach Nick Donato when this time elapses. What does he say to a football team at the halftime when you trail 27-0?
Well, I think he's going to have to tell his kids to settle down, and they have to establish something in the second half. They haven't really established anything. They had some opportunities at some real big plays and, missed out with them early. And since then, it's been all Berwick. Berwick with the multiple sets, a lot of motion. North Pocono's been on defense the whole second quarter. They're going to have to get the ball, establish a little running game, and hope to get some big plays from that running game in the second half.
Well, we told you that the Berwick Bulldogs were ranked number 1 in the nation by the newspaper USA. George Curry told us he didn't like that honor because it sort of distracted his team from practicing. Their youngsters were holding their heads up high before they finally got down to the basics of football, but they find themselves in the championship and doing very well, 27-0. Tusa's low line drive kick on the bounce. Mikowski has trouble at the 23. And remember, right after this ball game, Alabama-Auburn, right here on Channel 16. As you're watching another exclusive sports presentation of WNEP TV.
Take a look at that Berwick scoring drive. Just 3 plays, 38 yards. Time of possession, 44 seconds. D'Alberto, the 31-yard run. That's the way Berwick does it.
Well, they trotted off Jim Pahanik into the locker room with the help of 2 other players. We'll see to what extent his injury is. And now Mikowski taking over as a reserve quarterback with a long count. Pitches to the tailback, strike charge, but the play is blown dead with 39 seconds remaining.
And I would think, Frank, that with 39 seconds left, they're just going to try to get out of here, regroup, probably try nothing really fancy or important, just regroup and try to come back out in the second half.
They have no other choice, Joe. They have to regroup. Berwick's definitely in a prevent defense. They're playing a 3-man line
on the offense
with a 4 underneath coverage, and they have 4 people on top. So North Pocono's got to regroup and hope that second half that they could establish something.
When the ball is put in play, it'll be 1st and 15 at the 18-yard line. North Pocono minus first-string quarterback, the junior Jim Pahanic. Dave McCuskey, tall, lean, lanky, 6'4", 195, pitches to the tailback. Streichars is stretched out along the sideline.
Regan on the stop there, Paul. Berwick has all the tools. They're extremely quick in the secondary. Streichars just could not get to the corner.
And there it is, the end of the first half with a score. The Berwick Bulldogs 27 and the North Pocono Trojans nothing.
Okay, well, let's go down now to Tim Carlson, who's live with his head coach, Curry.
Well, I'll tell you, Joe, we wanted to talk to George Curry at halftime, but business is business as usual, and George decided he wanted to talk to the kids instead. I don't think he has, 27-0. You wouldn't think he had too much to worry about, but you can bet he's so intense that he's going to go in there and say, now look, we've got this 27-0 lead. This is no time, and excuse the expression, to donk it coming out here in the second half. He knows North Pocono is a big play offensive team. They can put points on the board very quickly, and he's going to know that they want to come out here and try to get back in this ball game. It'll be interesting to see just exactly what happens with North Pocono coming out in the second half. The defense for Berwick is just going to kind of have to hang on and see if they can hold this lead to make it a perfect season. Back to you.
Well, the biggest victory for Berwick this year in the 8th game of the season, defeated Milton 58-0. But here it is 27-0, and we'll be back with more halftime activities after this.
We're proud and thankful.
4 days ago, they weren't in awe of Berwick. They certainly weren't scared. They had respect, and why not? Berwick is a fine football program, but they felt they could play with this team.
That is Dennis Souza ready to kick off the second half here at Crispin Field. A low line drive kick. McCoskey feels it like a baseball player. The pitch back is to Palis, to 25. Palis ducks his head down low.
There's McCoskey. He's got the ball. He looks upfield. Now watch him turn. Dish off to the speedster, Palis. And Palis trying now just to get out in the open and get 7 up on that board fast.
Palis not only an outstanding football. In motion, Palis. McCoskey. The pitch back to Palis with Streichars doing the blocking. Stiff jabs a couple of defenders. And Palis down at the 35-yard line. Not much running room, Frank, on that short side of the field. Is he happy?
It's hard to say with those guys, but he looks pretty happy to me at this point, and why not? I guess with McCoskey in there, they've just got to try to spring Palis, get him out into the open, and get something up fast. I think they're going to try to work that stuff to the outside, Frank.
Right. Well, McCoskey, is under a lot of pressure now. He's the backup quarterback, and your team is down by 4 touchdowns, so it's going to be tough for North Pocono.
2nd and 9. The fake to Palis. Here's Streichars, and Streichars is collared at the 36, just about a yard.
They tried a little counter from the I formation, fake to the fullback one way, giving it back to Streichars on the outside, or off tackle, but there was nothing there. He tried to bounce it out, but Berwick does have excellent speed to match up.
Well, as we said, that Berwick defense, for them, it's a mission not to be scored upon. They've heard things this year about other people's defenses, and they are just not ready to give up any ground. They haven't been scored on since the Shikellamy game, and that was way back around the 7th game, so it's been 6 games since they've been scored on.
3rd down and 8. North Pocono with the running back split. Palis in motion across your screen right now. And McCoskey rolling right. Will look for Palis downfield, and he fires for Strong, and it's into the dirt.
Well, Berwick came with a red dog, 51. Pavava came through there. They're playing a 3-4, and they're stacking their linebacker, and on sprint action, he's blitzing, and they're playing man in the secondary, and they put the pressure on McCoskey. He had to throw the ball prior to the point that he wanted to.
He was wide open, but just didn't have the time to get the ball in there, and that's the problem now. The Berwick defense is really coming in a rush.
Dave McCoskey back in punt formation. Will be booting from about the 22-yard line. Dalberto and A.J. Thomas are deep awaiting the punt, and he gets an end-over-end kick. Dalberto tried to field it and hit his leg, and Radamus saved the day there because it bounced off the knee of Dalberto, and Radamus there to recover the loose pigskin.
Well, when everything is going your way, everything is going your way. Now watch this. Here's the punt. Alberto tries to get out of the way of the ball, but it bounces right up, bangs off his leg. But Berwick is there to fall on top of it. Boy, that could have been a very key play in the game if North Pocono could have fallen on top of that.
It sure would have, but that's why Berwick's a good football team. They're taking advantage of every opportunity.
A little trouble with the clock not working, so the officials will take a timeout. The referee there indicating that is Phil Morgan.
Start the ball. No work. That's not the ball. We're going to keep the clock on the field. The clock's the problem. It's not working. Okay, we're at 10:06. We're going to keep the back judge will keep the time. The clock's not working.
All right, I got you.
Randy.
Coach Curry thought that maybe the North Pocono people weren't happy with the football, and he was screaming about that. But in fact, it wasn't the football. The clock was wrong. Now apparently they're going to keep the official time now down on the field.
It appears that Mills is not in there at fullback for Berwick, so that shoulder injury he sustained, it seems to be going to keep him out of the rest of the ball game.
So injuries on both sides of the field. Pahanic for the Trojans. Mills replaced there by number 32, Mark DePippa. And center Lou DePippa, ready to snap it back to Bull Orlando. On the 1st and 10. Last man through, Dalberto. Slippery. It's at the 48-yard line.
Okay, Tim Carlson, you're out there. I think you're having a good time. Tim, where are you?
Hey, I'm up in the stands right now, Joe, and I think I'm in Bulldog country. Let me see if I can find out here. This gentleman, your name, sir?
Jim Shotwell.
And where are you from?
Berwick.
And what do you think of the Dogs?
Great. I waited all year for this game.
Did you think they were a little tight coming out?
A little bit, yeah, I believe it.
Do you think that #1 ranking in the country had something to do with it?
Well, a little bit. And, they're that way every week. They're a little slow in the first quarter, and after that they really go to town.
What do you think about the shutout?
I think they got a good chance at it.
All right.
The first thing quarterback's out of the game.
All right. It looks pretty good right now for the shutout for the Dogs. We'll get you back with more later. Joe?
Down on the field is North Pocono's Dave Holtzman. The 5'10", 155-pound senior injured on this play. And again, they're looking at an ankle. Looks like a couple of ankle injuries out there today, Frank.
Yeah, we have Pahanic and we have Holzman. Now, Holzman's going to be a big loss to North Pocono defensively. He's more or less their defensive leader. He plays their weak side end, their linebacker, and he's a big leader for them.
And Frank, he just aggravated the injury that he received in the game he played against you.
Well, I believe he injured his ankle here. Against us, he had a shoulder separation, Paul. So he's injured, two different parts of his body. So he's going to be banged up has a long time to rest after the year.
Well, he worked very hard to get himself into condition to get in the playoff game here today. Well, another score for the Hanover Hawkeyes. Kaminsky just scored on a 1-yard run. Hanover 21, Holmesdale 6 with a little over 5 minutes to go in the third period there. Here it is 27-0. Berwick up on top. 2nd down and 5 at the 47-yard line. He fakes the counter play to Reagan, and Orlando will keep. He's to the 50. The 45 loses the football, but I believe he's got it back.
Every possible conceivable break, really, so far has gone Berwick's way.
Berwick there faked an inside reverse. You see the fake there to Reagan. Now Orlando with his great speed on the outside with Dalberto leading, and he just has great quickness.
And they talk about the blocking. I mean, these kids credit their offensive line, and they are getting some very fine blocking from those offensive linemen.
You see the ball squirt loose there, but then again, Joe Orlando's great quickness, he has the agility to hop back on it.
And he picks up enough for the first down at the 44-yard line. Orlando to Dalberto, and a nice ankle tackle there by North Pocono's Bill DeSantis.
Berwick came out with a pro-I formation, that lighthouse effect, and they just went backside with a blast play or a power play with the lead back, the fullback leading in there through and giving the ball to Dalberto. You see Holzman there on the sideline with nursing that ankle injury.
I would not be surprised if he came back in this game. There's no way he wants to sit down in the Eastern Conference Championship game, and if he can come back, I'm sure he will be.
He's a very courageous young man, and I'm sure he's over there fighting to get back in.
8 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in the third period. It's 27-0. The Bulldogs up on top of the Trojans as Orlando wants to take to the airways, but he's holding that ball out, and he decides to run. A penalty marker's down, and we may have a clip.
Now, we got a definite hold on number 32. Definite hold on number 32 for Berwick. He just grabbed the guy in the back of the jersey as he was trying to get up and make the play.
That was very obvious, but there again, you saw the speed and the quickness of Alberto. He sprints out. You have 3 receivers wide to his right, He's hemmed in there a little bit, but you see the good cutback by him. Now he breaks it out to the outside, and he has that good agility and quickness.
That was Mark DePippa caught with the infraction.
32, don't grab their jersey.
Right there.
Holding during the run, number 32, blue. Second down.
Well, Berwick has had the ball for 35 offensive plays, and North Pocono 22.
That tells the tale.
This will bring up a 2nd and 23 at the 44-yard line of the Bulldogs. Trying to rip off their 13th straight victory. 10 shutouts out of the 12 games. Mark DePippa in motion. The lone back is Orlando.
They were going with that little quarterback draw again, Paul, but Orlando lost his footing there in the muddy part of the field and slipped.
And Brock Edwards was there to make sure he didn't get up right away. Number 64. Orlando now going back, and he gets into that muddy part. You see him try to set up, and down he goes. And in high school football, once the knee touches, you don't have to be touched by a defensive player. The play is called dead. George Curry, he is so anxious for this one to end and put the capper on a perfect season.
3rd down, 29 for the Bulldogs. Orlando, this is Reagan. Reagan going outside, cuts inside, and he's got running room. Puts on the afterburners, and finally is collared by one of the safety men at the 33-yard line. Streichar saves the touchdown.
The same play they ran at the beginning in the second half, Paul, for a big gainer. They were in a split backfield with Reagan at the tight wing. A little bit the way Penn State uses Dozier to come back in. You see it coming back in on the inside reverse. They trap the end out, and Reagan just puts the afterburners on there, and he's a real fine runner with excellent speed.
And he's getting some great blocking there to break himself into that secondary. And that kid last year gained 1,000 yards for Berwick.
That was a 28-yard scamper. You get a good look at Davey, and here is the handoff to D'Alberto.
Straight power shot there, Paul. I formation, come back to the weak side, backside guard pulling, double team down, fullback kicked out on the end, and the guard let up in the hole, and D'Alberto just ran over a North Pocono youngster there and made a big play. It's all Berwick right now.
Now that's the North Pocono crowd looking on with not a lot to cheer about today, but they've got to be pleased and thrilled with the kind of season this North Pocono football team has had.
Head coach Nick Donato in his 3rd year, 21 victories, 11 losses, and 1 tie. 10-1 this year. D'Alberto faking. Orlando keeping. To the outside, and another ankle tackle. Scott Strong making the tackle at the shoe tops.
That Orlando can just do so many things. You don't know if he's going to pull up and throw, if he's going to go wide, if he's going to hand off inside again. Everything on the team runs off of this basic formation. The handoff or the fake inside, D'Alberto rolling where he'll run or throw, and it's very difficult to defend that kind of offensive formation.
The ball is at the 9. They can pick up a 1st down at the 5. D'Alberto in a lot of traffic.
Same play they ran a minute ago, Paul, or the play before this. Formation one way, come back with the short side power.
Frank, as you know, a lot of teams can run that formation, but a guy like Orlando is the difference in making it so successful.
No question about it. Orlando just keeps pressure on the perimeter of the defense, which is the outside linebacker, the cornerback, and the safety. Those 3 people are in constant threat by Orlando because he fakes inside and he has a great speed to run. He has the option to throw the ball. So he keeps a constant pressure on the defense.
3rd down and 4 at the 9-yard line. The Bulldogs trying to cash in their 5th of the day. Another keeper by Orlando. He'll sprint out toward the end zone, and he is in. For Orlando, 9 yards. Plays 57 yards, and the Bulldogs hang up another one.
And again, it was the blocking of A.J. Thomas who pinched in, took out the defensive linebacker on the play, and sprung him into the end zone to get that corner for the touchdown. Watch Orlando now. He's going to come right at you. He rolls to the right side of the field. A.J. Thomas will pinch in right there. There's D'Alberto. One more block right there, and he's in for the touchdown.
They had the football there for 5 minutes and 18 seconds, so yeah, that to the 17. They've owned the football here this afternoon.
You got to put it on right there, Bob. Dead ball!
North Pocono right now is having complete defensive breakdowns on the perimeter, which we just saw there. Orlando's keeping that pressure on that perimeter, and he's got the quickness to make the big plays.
Bo Orlando.
Tusa trying to make it 34-0. It's high. And up against the scoreboard, and indeed it is 34-0 with 4 minutes and 44 seconds remaining here in the third period. The Berwick Bulldogs out to a commanding 34-0 lead. We'll return with a kickoff after this.
Supermarket.
We're back live at Berwick. Another Berwick touchdown. And just putting it away now. It's kind of watching the clock run down, finish things off.
Dennis Tusa, who kicked the extra point, ready to tee off now. The deep man will be Streichars and Palis. If he just dialed in, of course, Jim Pahanic, suffering the injury in the second period, is out of service for the North Pocono offensive defense. And of course, Berwick also suffering an injury to Andy Mills, who will not see any more action here this afternoon. Bulldogs in their last 4 games had 4 straight shutouts. It's going to be Palis at the 11, 15, 20, 25. He shifts into high gear and is down at the 34-yard line.
And he was 1 tackler away from breaking that one for a touchdown.
Well, Berwick is preventing that big play, and that's their success today as far as containing North Pocono. They have shut down all of North Pocono's big plays from happening because they're matching up with them very, very well in speed.
You take a look at that last Berwick drive. 10 plays, 57 yards. Orlando, the quarterback, the 9-yard run, and they took 5 minutes and 18 seconds to do it. They don't let you come back.
Reserve quarterback Dave Mikowski in there for Pahanic. Palis with a little motion. Pitches back, and it's going to be Palis upended at the 38-yard line.
What North Pocono is attempting to do now, Paul, is motion Palis and then counter trap with him to the backside. Kalowski, their right guard, pulled and back trapped Palis from the wing back, coming back in motion, and they almost cut it. But there again, Berwick has the excellent speed in the secondary to stop that big North Pocono play.
Number 22, Jack Husak, the 5'11", 170-pound cornerback. To get a good look at Jack, it is now 2nd and 5 in the I formation. Strong and Streichard. The pitch to Streichard. Eludes 1 tackler, 40. And the strong legs, the Streichard, actually takes a couple of men with him to about the 49-yard line.
And at this point, as you look at Joe Streichard, Sports Star of the Week this year on 16 Sports, I think just a first down would be a moral victory right now for these kids. The Streichard is just so good. But I don't know how many times he's seen a defense that has so many quick kids in there on defense all the time.
Well, Joe, he has rushed for 1,400 yards this year, and this ball game was held to a mere 46 in the first half. They need less than a yard for the first down here. Streichars will get the opportunity, and he nosedives over for the first down.
And he's got the first down. That is the first down for North Pocono in this second half.
And their third of the ball game.
Berwick has really dominated the line of scrimmage, Joe. They're very, very relentless with their pursuit. Their secondary is good. They're just a quality football team.
Did you think, though, that there was a team that could hold North Pocono to just 2 first downs in a half?
Well, if you never have the ball, there's not many opportunities of making first downs. If Berwick has had the ball, their time of possession has just been almost 3 to 4 to 1.
2 minutes and 36 seconds here in the third quarter. And it is 1st and 10 for the Trojans, working from around their 45. This is the reverse to Palis. Here he goes, the 50, the 45, walking the chalk line and pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line.
It was the flanker reverse that time, Paul. If we could have it back on our monitor, you'll see an excellent play by Palis. You see Mikowski, the quarterback, back pitching it to Palis on a flanker around. And there you see the speed of Palis and the big play of North Pocono. Excellent play by Regan and Alberto for Berwick, preventing a touchdown.
There's an update on the Hanover-Holmesdale game. 21-14, the Hornets of Alan Keller sticking right in there. That's about a minute left to go in the ball game.
Look at that Holmesdale team coming back.
Palis in motion on the 1st and 10. Hornets, or rather the Trojans, would like to take it in, but Strike Shars is decked. He hit a stone wall.
Defensive tackle for Berwick played it very well. They came with a backside power. And Miller, the left defensive tackle for Berwick, made a nice play.
The Hornets possess two outstanding tackles, DeAndrea 215 pounds and Brock Edwards 230. The guards, Huff and Kowalski, weigh 195. Billy Reese to center, 5'10", 172-pound junior. Mikowski and Smith the end. Smith, a tiny guy, 5'8", 135 pounds. Second and a long 9 for the Trojans. Palis in motion to the top of the eye will take the pitch. They'll try to string him out now, and indeed they do string him out. Jack Husak again, number 22. Stretch the string on that one as you'll take another look right here.
Here's the pitch to Palis from his wingback position coming in motion. It's nothing more than a full house sweep to the left, and Berwick had it well defended.
I almost get the feeling that Berwick took those 2 first downs personally on defense. By the way, coming up right after this game, Auburn and Alabama, and that is always the big one in the Southeast Conference.
So it's going to bring up a 3rd and 17, long yardage. We'll see now if Mikowski will crank up his arm, rolling right, looking for the tight end. Penalty markers down. The pass is caught by DeSantis.
Take it back!
But a penalty in the backfield.
Going to have a holding against North Pocono, and Coach Curry wants to send him back. It would not have been a first down. It would have brought up about a 4th and 7. I think Coach Curry wants to see it like a 3rd and 30.
Well, he wants to force him into a punting situation. North Pocono, of course, if they had made that gain, probably would have gambled and gone on it for 4th down. But right now they have to make a big play.
Berwick coming off 4 straight shutouts. 58-0 over Milton.
33 on the offense. 3rd down again.
Tamaqua 47-0, Shamokin 48-0, and the last game Wyoming Valley West 27-0, and lead here 34-0. Coach Curry, 116 victories, 36 losses, and 2 ties in 13 years at the helm of the Bulldogs. 3rd and a mile. Good drop play. Strike Shars is about 2 or 3, and that's all. And we'll see the punting unit coming out now.
That's one of those plays designed, hopefully, to get you big yardage, but it's almost impossible to drop back and try to throw on such long yardage against a team like Berwick, just spread out and back deep.
Well, there's no pressure on Berwick right now, Joe. You know, you're expecting to draw on that 3rd and long, and they're way ahead, and they have everything at their advantage now.
Mikowski not only doing the quarterbacking for the injured Pahanic, but also now as the unit's first string punter. Boots it away, D'Alberto at the 28, to the 30, 35. And down at the 45-yard line with 2 seconds remaining, a 28-yard punt.
And again, Berwick has excellent field position, Paul.
One play here, and the quarter will be over. And the quarter will indeed be over right now as they start the clock. So the score here at Crispin Field in Berwick, it's the Bulldogs 34, the North Pocono Trojans nothing. We'll be back with 4th quarter action live and exclusive here on Channel 16 after this timeout.
Hi, I'm Uncle Marty from Stay White.
We are back live in the 4th quarter here at Berwick, but there is our final from Honesdale, Hanover area. A perfect season. They have won the Class B title. They beat Honesdale 21-14 today at Honesdale. Congratulations to the Hanover area Hawks, ranked number 2 in the Super 16 and 6th in the state, or 5th depending on the poll. What a great year for Al Kopaz and his kids, and of course highlights of that game tonight with Tim Carlson on Newswatch 16 Sports. That wraps up that one. There is 1 left to go, 1 quarter left, and we are done for the season. And what a great season it has been. Number 1 in Pennsylvania by the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and the Sailor ratings ranked number 1 in the nation by USA Today. And let us not forget, number 1 in the Super 16.
1st and 10 for the Dogs now at their own 45-yard line, and D'Alberto will yet get another chance to run, but he is collared down at the 46-yard line.
And I don't think, Frank, Berwick will come out and throw now. I would have to suspect they're pretty happy with 34-0. Their major concern now is not to let North Pocono score points.
Well, I think I disagree a little, Joe. Berwick is a high-ranked offensive team, and I think they're going to continue playing their game. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised now to see Reagan on a reverse or their quarterback, Orlando, attacking the perimeter with a play-action pass.
Berwick with a second down, and it's going to be a keeper play with Orlando. Stiff-arming his penalty marker down.
There it is, Joe. They faked the flanker reverse, and Orlando attacked the perimeter.
And 2 flags down on the play.
The face mask on Orlando, so they have another 15-yard penalty. Berwick's all set to go in again.
Well, watch Orlando now. He's trying to spread this outside, but North Pocono just manages to turn it inside. There is the face mask right there. And that's going to cost 15 yards.
They fake to Reagan, who you have to expect because has that great speed, and Orlando attacked the perimeter. They had a 2nd and 10.
Well, the Bulldogs average 35 points a game. They have 34 right now.
Bulldogs only lost in Eastern Conference play to Coughlin back in '82.
We have a face mask
31-6
on the defense. First down.
And of course, Frank Pizzalia's Valley View Cougars came back in the championship a year ago today to defeat that same Coughlin team.
I remember that one well, Frank.
That was very exciting, wasn't it?
You didn't get out of Valley View Stadium till darkness. Straight down the middle.
A little counter dive. North Pocono probably will, Berwick will probably run some of their power plays right now.
And you can see coming up next, Alabama versus Auburn immediately following this football game. 2 bowl-bound teams. Auburn, the number 3 ranked team in the country. Southeast Conference game. It is always a terrific football game. It's right up after we are done here, and there is still some work to be done here.
2nd and 7 for the Berwick Bulldogs, and Berwick elects to take a timeout right here. Ball just inside the 10-yard line.
Alabama-Auburn game should be a great one, Joe. The championship for the state of Alabama.
Third quarter statistics, and look at the dominance. It is just so overwhelming. 27 minutes and 51 seconds to 8 minutes and 9 seconds for North Pocono.
And the old strong adage, if you don't have the ball, you can't do the scoring. As you look at Orlando and head coach George Curry.
And what a great year they've had, but I can't help but to wonder what would have happened to Hanover this year if Berwick had not been so dominant in all of the ratings, all the rankings. Hanover had just such a terrific football season, and they seemed to play sort of a second fiddle to Berwick all year. They had a great year all season long. Coming up, by the way, tonight on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, the opening of deer hunting season. Tonight we'll take a look at the deer hunting events of the week. We'll also find out how the Game Commission had to prepare for the opening of deer hunting season. Plus, we'll learn the skillful art of crossbow competition. That's all tonight. You know where. Pennsylvania Outdoor Life at 7, and it's right here on TV 16.
2nd and 7, just inside the 10-yard line. D'Alberto strikes a stone wall right at the line of scrimmage.
That is the North Pocono side of the field. They came down today by buses. They were hopeful. They didn't think Berwick was perhaps as dominant as those number 1 rankings might say, but today I think they've seen themselves maybe the best football team in America. Who knows?
Alberto on that last carry reached the 80-yard mark in rushing here this afternoon. As Scott Everett splits out wide to the right side on the 3rd down play, 7 to go. The fake in the middle, and Orlando tosses. Touchdown, DeWeese.
Hit the tight end on a crossing pattern, fake the counter dive, make the dive in the middle, cleared out with the split end, and hit the tight end on a crossing pattern.
3rd down and 7 play. One of the few times in this half that Orlando has put the ball up, and this time it's good for 6 points, and number 7 about to follow.
During the year, DeWeese has not been the primary target of Orlando. He's only had 17 catches for 2 touchdowns.
When you get in tight, Paul, you're going to throw the ball. The first man you look for is that tight end on crossing patterns.
And they're always open for some reason, Frank.
They always are because of that man coverage. And the play fake takes care of the run, and the tight end seems always to be open.
There's a flag down on that extra point.
A penalty marker down on the extra point try against North Pocono, so it's going to count.
Personal foul.
41-0.
And perhaps a little frustration now in North Pocono, and I know I probably wouldn't feel too happy if I was down 34-0 and they threw from the 7-yard line either. And but the Bulldogs put the points on the board, and I think there's just some frustration now.
Personal foul against them. 3-2. What? No, because they refused it. No, it doesn't. What? Well, it was good.
6 plays, 60 yards on that last drive by the Bulldogs.
And talking about upcoming sporting events on NEP, next Friday night, December 9th at 8 o'clock, WNEP will broadcast live again the pre-Olympic hockey shootout from Lake Placid, New York. That's the United States Olympic hockey team. They take on the Russian team in a spectacular pre-Olympic event. Our own NEP Super Shooter production trucks, you saw them on the halftime special, will be there broadcasting live coverage to the nation of what will be a memorable hockey shootout spectacular. The United States versus the USSR next Friday night at 8 o'clock right here on TV 16. Also, a week from today at 1:30, WNEP TV will bring you another live and exclusive presentation. It's the Pottsville Winter Carnival Parade. Floats, marching bands, cartoon characters of all kinds will parade down the streets of Pottsville in grand holiday style. It's an event that your whole family will enjoy, so come on down to Pottsville's big Winter Carnival Parade next Saturday. If you can't go to Pottsville, you can watch all the parade festivities live and exclusive next Saturday at 1:30. Where else? Right here on TV 16.
Well, if you're wondering why they're teeing up the football at the 50-yard line, the personal foul roughing the kicker on that extra point kick. And there's the play, 60 yards and 6 attempts, a minute, 58 seconds to put that one on the scoreboard. So Dennis Tuza now will put this one probably at the goal line. McCoskey at the 10 to the sidelines and is decked at about the 20-yard line. So it'll be first and 10, and the North Pocono Trojans now have to march 80 yards to try to avoid a shutout here.
Well, they're going to have to pull all the guns out now, Paul. Whatever they have at their disposal, they're going to have to try anything they have, because the game's just about over, and Berwick is going to be looking for field position again to take another one in.
9 minutes, 48 seconds remaining here in the fourth and final period. It's 41-0. Again, Dave McCoskey subbing for the injured Jim Pahanik. And it's going to be Scott Strong, the 6-foot, 180-pound junior, plowing into the line, stutters for a couple of yards. Well, with the 41 points, gentlemen, an awesome display of offensive power for Berwick this year. 465 points, allowing 31. And there's the record for the Berwick playoffs.
And that loss to Coughlin last year ended a streak of 32 straight wins.
Streichars knifes his way across the 25-yard line. The last regular season defeat was in 1981 when North Schuylkill beat Berwick on the last game of the season by a score of 14-0. Take that back, 1980. North Schuylkill. The only other loss that came in between there was the loss to Coughlin in 82, 31-6. Third down, about 2 for the Trojans. Strong, Streichars gets the carry, ducks his head down low, and gets to about the 29-yard line.
The Bulldogs know now they're just not going to throw the ball. Mikowski just not, he's not the starter, he's the backup guy, and I think the Bulldogs now are just cramping in there. They're ready to shut down the big play on the field. Tim Carlson has got one of the stars of this football game, the quarterback, Bo Orlando. Tim?
All right, Bo, you got to be very, very happy about the performance. The team has come up big. You've thrown several touchdown passes today. How do you feel about it?
Oh, it's great. It was, a team effort. We knew that we had to come in a ball game like we had a lot on the line, like the national rankings, and we just wanted to show people, what we were made of,
All right, I think maybe your ball club came out a little tight in the first period, and then it seemed once you got that fumble recovery, you started to cash in things.
Well, that's one thing about our team. They don't try to rush anything, but we know we like to wear the other team down. We like to go at them, wear them down.
All right, what about the college career? Any word on that yet for us?
No, I'm just not yet. I haven't decided yet.
All right, Bo, thanks a lot. There you go, Bo Orlando, great quarterback for the Berwick Bulldogs, going out with a championship. Joe?
A loose pigskin on the field, but recovered by the Trojans.
And Coach Curry now bringing in some of the new people. He's got the clean uniforms in there, and that means he's going to try to let everybody, at least as many people as he can, take part in this Class A Eastern Conference Championship title game.
Still a lot of time remaining. Exactly 7 minutes and counting down. The ball at the 34-yard line. 2nd and 10 for the Trojans. Reese with a snap back to Mikowski and Frank Pizzari. It seems that Nick Donato has refined himself to playing basic football here in the tail end of the game.
Well, Paul, he hasn't been able to do much in 3.5 quarters. He feels he's not going to be able to make up 41 points in a big hurry. He's probably just trying to get a little better field position, and then he'll probably try to air a few passes out, see if they could get on the scoreboard.
And no doubt about it, here with the victory over North Pocono, the Berwick Bulldogs again will receive that strong nationwide attention in the pages of USA newspaper on Monday morning. Ranked #1 by that edition.
We'll get it back.
Tommy Smith out to the left side. The running backs this time strong. And Streichars, and the pitch on the reverse to Palis. There's the defender Reagan. He slips by him. 40, 45. D'Alberto try to get him, and Palis still on his feet. How about that Reagan, Frank Pizzari? He missed the tackle here at the 40, but he makes it down there at the 30.
Well, there's nothing, you can't coach speed, Paul. That was just pure outspeed by Reagan, but a fine effort by Mike Palis. Still hanging in there, down 41 points, and still giving it 100% effort. That's why he's the football player that he is, Paul.
And you can't imagine what's at stake here. I'm telling you that this football game, long since decided, has now come down to North Pocono putting points up on the board, and this is a personal battle now with these kids, I promise you.
A 34-yard run by the speedster Mike Palis at the 33. Shovels it back to Streichar. Goes outside. And Husak making the tackle from his cornerback spot on Streichar.
And if you think I'm kidding, that North Pocono crowd over there now, they only want one thing.
They want to score, considered like a moral victory to a certain extent. But Berwick has put their frontliners back in there.
Well, they want to keep that shutout string going, I guess. Make it 11. And the North Pocono Trojan coaches on the opposite side of the field don't seem to like that. Well, the last Eastern Conference loss, as you saw, right there. Bayless, again the reverse to the short side of the field, but he runs on a running roll. Time remaining, 5 minutes and 2 seconds. The Bulldogs 41, the Trojans nothing. The Class A Eastern Final, the Class B won by Hanover over Homedale 21-14.
And there's George Curry's father right there who keeps stats for the Bulldogs.
1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Scott Strong.
And you think that this game was 14-13. The Berwick crowd, under no circumstances, want to see a touchdown score to get them, and the North Pocono crowd is now standing on its feet. So this game, it may be over, but now it's a matter of pride. North Pocono, these kids want to come away with something, and that is points.
Berwick has all their frontliners in, and that time Miller made a great hit for them from his defensive tackle position, slanted in the short yardage defense.
2nd down and 9 for the Trojans. Knocking on the door, but there's the reverse again to Palis. He's got Mikowski out in front blocking. Palis tries to cut the corner, runs into Miller, and runs out a running roll.
Okay, right after this game, Auburn and Alabama. 3:30 right after this football game or thereabouts, and they'll have a little pregame show there, so we will not miss any action from that game. Auburn and Alabama, both teams headed for bowl games. Auburn this year trying to get the number of Alabama, a team that they've had so much trouble with over the past few years. But this year, Auburn is the higher-rated team.
That ought to be a great shootout, Joe.
4 minutes and 6 seconds remaining. Third down and a long nine. Makowski wants to fire, but fires it low. Intended for Bill DeSantis.
It looked like the ball slipped from his fingers, a little muddy, and the ball seemed to slip right out of his hands. They're trying to get the tight end DeSantis there.
Well, it all comes down to this, doesn't it? When I say it all, the little personal game now that is going on. 41-0. Berwick has it wrapped. I don't think anyone will dispute, since they were number one going in, they will probably come out of this game number one. And I think that's good for high school football in northeastern Pennsylvania. You don't like to see a team lose 41-0, but I personally think them getting the number one ranking is real good stuff for our area.
Here comes the 12th play of the drive for North Pocono. Makowski wants to go to the air. Palis has his back turned.
He's wide open, Paul. He's wide open. Makowski just missed him. Hung the ball out a little bit too much to the outside. He had Palis. Palis from his flanker position came on an in and out. A little alley-oop type of pass, but the ball was a little wide to the left.
And that drive, the best drive of the day with some help from Berwick, stalls on the 9-yard line.
Their best time of possession, 13 plays in the drive. And we have some of the second unit now for North Pocono coming in on defense.
Although Mr. Curry has not made any second team changes.
No, it looks like Berwick's going for another one.
3 minutes, 59 seconds. First and 10 from the 9, and D'Alberto gets the call.
I think Berwick's going to go with their second unit now that they saw that North Pocono came with theirs. So it's a matter of history now.
Coming off the field, the kids who have done so well for Berwick this year, part of this perfect championship season, will be back from Berwick right after this.
The sound you've been...
There's the score, and there's the time. Ticking away, a little under 3.5 minutes. Paul Olis, Joe Zone, Frank Bazzaglia, and Tim Carlson with a live exclusive sports presentation here on Channel 16. The reserves are in there, and number 8 is Butch Melito taking over for Bull Orlando at quarterback. And Melito with a penalty marker going down. A handoff to Mark DePippa.
Joe and Paul, North Pocono has nothing to be ashamed of. Coach Donato has done an excellent job with his Trojans all year long.
Defense.
He's a young coach. He brought North Pocono a long way. You know, Berwick was down last year too, losing to Coughlin by over 30 points, and have come back now to cap just about the Eastern Conference Championship. So Coach Donato has done a great job, and his youngsters have nothing to be ashamed of.
Clock continues to move, but now the penalty markers come down.
When you think about the competition that they played in beating the Big 11 this year, which really had so many good teams, to come out of that pack and come out on top was a real tribute to their team.
And the odd record that will stand is that both father and son will have lost to the same team. Sam Donato losing to Berwick in 1960, 19-7, and son Nick Donato about to absorb his only second loss of the 1983 campaign. Second down, less than a yard to go. Butch Melito operating the team now. Hand off this time, John Evanina. Gets the first down. Number 42, John Evanina. Take a look.
Straight off tackle shot, backside guard pulling, fullback kicking on the end, and one of Berwick's patent power plays.
First down and 10 at the 27-yard line. Melito lines them up in the I formation. The ends are in tight. Simple handoff to the tailback, and that is going to be Mark DePippa. A reserve running back with 315 yards rushing this year and 6 touchdowns.
All right, Tim Carlson down on the sidelines. What have you got, Tim?
I've got A.J. Thomas. You got to be real happy about today, my friend.
Oh, I mean, this is just unbelievable. I'm glad that we could have this part. Bo just set him perfect on those touchdowns, and then this is a great bunch of guys. This is great.
How about on a field like that, though, making those kind of cuts like that? Any problem out there?
It wasn't bad, except like in between the 40s at midfield. And like outside, it was pretty good, though. The grass and everything did a real good job. People were down here, ladies, elderly ladies, about, say, 70, 80 years old, were down here in the morning shoveling snow with us. So, you know, it was really good to have the whole team spirit and the town spirit in it.
Everybody took part in this victory, huh?
Yep, everybody in the town is really happy about it, and I don't know, it's going to be a fun time tonight and the rest of the year.
Thanks, A.J., and good luck to you. A.J. Thomas, a big star in this game today, along with the whole Berwick Bulldog team. Back to you.
Well, they'll be dancing in the streets. Tim Carlson here at Berwick tonight, enjoying their 13th straight victory in 1983. Take a listen to Mr. Morgan.
Dead ball foul, false start on the offense. First and again.
So instead of 1st and 10, it'll be 1st and 15 for the Bulldogs.
Don't forget, immediately following this game, a minute left, we go to Auburn, Alabama live.
Butch Melito and the ball carrier caught up in a little traffic. That ball carrier, by the way, Joe, was Kaz Curry.
He is definitely related. He's the son. And frankly, I'm surprised with the final score, but as I said, a couple of big things happened early against North Pocono, and I think that told the tale of the football game.
Taking a look there at Coach Donato, the fine young coach of North Pocono, and again, he has nothing to be ashamed of. He's done an excellent job getting his team into finals this year.
DePippa sprints out to the 42-yard line.
And if all is merciful, that will be the final game, final play of the game, as the Bulldogs on the sideline say, we are #1, and I don't think there are 3 people with brains who will dispute that call right now.
18 seconds and counting down, and the celebrations will start. It's all over.
Okay, there it is. The Bulldogs have won it.
The 1983 Eastern Conference champions, 13 victories, 11 shutouts. So maybe USA newspaper ranking Berwick #1 in the nation just may be true.
Well, nobody's going to dispute that, at least in this part of the country. We'll be back to wrap it up from Berwick right after this message.
Do you know what manufacturer?
There it is, the final. The Berwick Bulldogs 41, the North Pocono Trojans nothing. The Eastern Conference Championship right here at Crispin Field. 2 important sidelights of that game for Pahanic, Joe, and Frank. Time of possession, the Bulldogs 31 minutes, 51 seconds. North Pocono only 14 minutes and 9 seconds. And of course, the injury to your first-string quarterback. What more can you say?
Well, I thought Berwick was well prepared for the game, as was North Pocono. Berwick has a lot of tools. They're strong on defense. They're excellent on offense. As I said before, I thought it was a well-prepared game by both coaches. Congratulations to both teams.
All righty, they are celebrating down on the field, as you can see, and somewhere in that mass of people is Tim Carlson and head coach George Curry.
George, you got to be happy with this one, especially after what happened last year. How do you feel being the #1 coach?
Well, I'll tell you, when you got great football players like I have, it's very easy. But I'll tell you, it was a town effort. You know, our kids, they worked their butts off for 3 years for this, you know. And I'll tell you another thing. Everybody's prayers were answered. Everybody prayed. The town, we were behind it. We got this for Andy Mills, too. Andy Mills got injured early. Yes. And I'll tell you, they did a great job.
All right, what about... Here comes the trophy. Here comes the trophy. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. We're going to see him get the trophy. Go ahead.
Congratulations on behalf of the Eastern Conference.
I think George is gone. Goodbye to George. And goodbye to me. I'm here somewhere, but there's George Curry and the trophy. The boys are holding them up, and they've earned it, believe me, in this ball game today. There we go.
All righty, that is the story that is celebrating here at Crispin Field in Berwick. A terrific finish to a terrific football season. Studio producer for this game, Eldon A. Hale Jr. Field producer, Andy Kelly. Remote technical supervisors, Frank Chavallo and Kenny Pavlik. Associate producer is Cheryl Borsk. On cameras, East Ash Jr., Dave Lewandowski, Scott Thompson, Tom Shelburne III, Steve Giannakopoulos. For all of us here at WNEP TV, we hope you enjoyed this broadcast. Paul Olis, Frank Fazzelia, Tim Carlson, and myself. It has been a terrific season. So long, everybody.
Live coverage of today's football championship has been brought to you by Northeastern Bank. You can talk to us. By AJ Chevrolet, service at its best. And by North Pocono Beverage, proud to be part of the North Pocono community. This has been another live, local, and exclusive presentation of WNEP TV 16. We're proud to serve Northeastern and Central Pennsylvania.